2023 Libra Full Moon reaches its maximum phase at 9:34 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Wednesday, the 5th of April 2023 at 16 degrees 7 minutes, bringing light to our one-on-one relationships of all kinds. Libra is a cardinal air sign, meaning that it initiates exchanges of ideas and information between two individuals or parties. It's very motivated by ideas of balance, beauty, and peace. And these qualities are sought after in almost everything and everyone Libra engages with. However, Libra is also known for its indecision. Often a matter of trying to keep the peace between the parties involved, sometimes Libra may be unwilling to make a decision in a matter, or will be passive in the face of choices to be made. This is Libra's way of making sure it comes across as a neutral and diplomatic party, not offending anyone by taking a side, yet also not standing for anything out of fear of offending someone or taking a situation out of balance. Where Libra can be more assertive and aggressive is when it comes into an imbalanced or unfair situation. Libra is a staunch advocate for fairness and justice, and it won't hesitate to come to the rescue of anything or anyone it believes is being treated unfairly, or to bring diplomacy to any situation it perceives as being in unnecessary conflict. Of course, this role works best for Libra when it is truly neutral. When Libra favors a side, it's pretty obvious and difficult to take seriously in the role of negotiator or diplomat. Libra is ruled by or associated with the planet Venus, which happens to be traveling through the sign of Taurus at the time of the 2023 Libra Full Moon. This is important as it reveals that the focus of our one-on-one relationships of all kinds is on whether or not the individuals within a relationship feel valued. This calls for a deeper exploration into what each person in a relationship wants to be valued for, and is why this full moon brings a lot more to the table than we might initially expect. During a Libra full moon, it's important to remember that the moon is reflecting the light of the Aries sun. Therefore, all relationships act as mirrors or contrasts for one's self-identity at this time. The thing about relationships in our current context is that many of us have been conditioned to use them as a way to, 1, focus on other people, and 2, avoid having the focus on ourselves. We point out our partner's strengths and talents, and their weaknesses and shortcomings. We may seek to make them extensions of ourselves, or try to force them to fill our gaps and or heal our wounds. Many of us seek partnerships in order to give ourselves, our lives, or our projects meaning or validation. Yet many of us are beginning to recognize just how strongly we've been conditioned to believe and or feel that our projects, our lives, or possibly ourselves have no value or worth unless we have somebody who is willing to partner with us to give us that value. This 2023 Libra full moon is here to let us know that nothing could be further from the truth. Again, the 2023 Libra full moon reflects the light of the Aries sun, meaning our relationships can tell us a great deal more about our individual selves than they do about our partners. This is especially the case with Jupiter, Chiron, Vesta, and Eris all moving through Aries along with the sun. Jupiter is expanding our awareness of ourselves. Chiron is encouraging us to do the work to heal our self-identities. Vesta is renewing our dedication to fully realizing our individual selves in the world. And Eris is helping us see where we may have abandoned or betrayed our true selves. There is so much potential for self-forgiveness, self-healing, and self-awakening in this moon phase. This 2023 Libra full moon also reveals our personal values more clearly to us, with Mercury, the moon's north node, Juno, Uranus, and Venus all traveling through Taurus. With our individual and collective focus on our most basic needs, we may learn during this full moon exactly what we individually need, and we may learn what our partners need. This will be a time in which we may come into greater awareness of exactly what our needs and our partner's needs are, and whether or not those needs are truly compatible or can coexist within our relationships. This is the case in all of our personal, professional, individual, and collective relationships. The most important questions during this 2023 Libra Full Moon may be: 1. Do we truly know, express, acknowledge, and value ourselves enough to have a conscious and healthy relationship with ourselves? 2. Is our relationship with ourselves conscious and healthy enough to be in a healthy relationship with another? 3. Are we individually willing to take responsibility for our part in the relationship and only our part in the relationship? In other words, not try to carry our partner's emotional, spiritual, or psychological responsibilities or do their emotional, spiritual, or psychological work for them. They're important questions to ask. When things become difficult or challenging in our relationships, we often try to point fingers at the other person to blame them for their insecurities and shortcomings. Yet we rarely admit to or take ownership of our own insecurities and shortcomings. Some of us will become hyper-aware of this dynamic during this full moon phase, as our own insecurities, fears, and our projections of them become increasingly more difficult to avoid or deny. And that's the beauty in this 2023 Libra full moon. We get to see ourselves fully and truly, and as a result, we have an opportunity to not only forgive and heal ourselves and others, we get to break old patterns and cycles in order to move forward and upward from here. This forgiving and healing isn't exclusive to individuals. The whole of humanity is undergoing a transformation on a couple of levels, in its societal values and in its technological awareness. The thing is, on the larger scale, most of humanity and society is grossly unprepared for the massive shifts occurring in both areas. The lack of preparation is largely because the evolution is happening so quickly. But it's also because most of us haven't taken the time to understand how these rapid changes are impacting us as a collective whole. That's because we've become so individualized. Many of us aren't paying attention to the big picture of things, and we won't understand the impact until it impacts us directly or personally. For many people, there was a determined denial of the signs of realities to come, a denial encouraged by our self-absorbed societal values and priorities. Plenty of foresight could have been had, but was instead dismissed. As a result, the changes happening now are decisive, and there will be a lot of resistance to them despite prior ignorance of their inevitability. They're bringing in major shifts in the way the world works, both on the personal, private, and collective public levels. Old relationships are dissolving as certain values are proving to be a mismatch and/or interests are no longer compatible. New relationships are being formed upon shared values and priorities. Actions speak louder than words, and more people and institutions are looking at who or what actually walks its talk and practices what it preaches. Whose words are aligned with their actions. The 2023 Libra full moon may reveal the true natures and motives of the relationships themselves, but the light is coming from the parties involved. Whatever the current status of the relationship may be, it's a reflection of the choices and actions of the individuals. The numerological energy of this 2023 Libra full moon also plays an interesting role. In the majority of North America and all points west of it, the maximum phase occurs on a 7 universal day of rest, reflection, and regrouping one's energies. However, the majority of the world will be experiencing this full moon on an 8 universal day of power and influence, which can also show up as control or manipulation of the status quo. This is a very curious dynamic, especially under the influence of an 11 universal month of collaboration through contribution, and a 7 universal year of reflection, analysis, planning, and preparation. It seems that while most of North America is largely playing catch-up, the rest of the world has already thought through how things may play out and may be very near to, if not already executing, their plans. On a more personal note, this may be a time to recognize your own personal power in your relationships, your communities, in humanity, and/or in the world. But for those of you in the majority of North America and all points west, take some time to get clear about what you really believe and what you really value. What actions are you willing to take to stand for your truth? To that point, We each and all have a choice in this moment to advocate for balance and peace, for fairness and justice, for seeing the beauty in ourselves and others, or to resist all of that in favor of holding on to our past-defined self-identities and our old conditioned beliefs about others, which advocate for anything but balance and peace. The energy of this 2023 Libra Full Moon will be felt from the 2nd of April through the 8th of April 2023. During this time, it will be important for us to remember that peace doesn't mean friendship or active relationship. One of the most powerful messages of this 2023 Libra Full Moon is where we don't share beliefs or values, there doesn't need to be conflict. Only acceptance and the understanding that two people or parties can change the nature of their relationship without having to be at odds, and that they can coexist without anger or resentment. They don't have to partner if they don't agree on terms. They don't have to be friends, but they also don't have to be enemies. It means allowing each other the space to be who we individually and truly are in collective relationship. Peace means recognizing the inherent beauty of humanity in all that is, and understanding that each and all of us have a right to live without imbalance and conflict as the normal conditions of our everyday lives. It means recognizing that peace is a choice.